we're going to move on to the next chapter, which is the next section, which is publishing. So it talks about how you can publish animation or any type of app. Basically, whenever we do Control Enter, the file that's generated on the stage or on the desktop will be a Swift file. That's what we're used to. So there's a number of ways or a number of things that you can actually publish. So when you go to File, you go to Publish Settings. It will basically give you options of what type of files you would like to publish. You can, by default, the Flash SWF file will be published. You can also have GIF images or animation based on GIF. You can also have anything that's WinProjector, so if you want something to be presented. In addition to that, you can have a different set of Flash players. What is it going to be targeted at? If you wanted to deploy it onto an Android device, you could say, I want to select the Air 3.2 Android. And when you click on that, and now press Control Enter, should generate so now when we look at the desktop, it should generate a file basically which is going to be an XML file. So now this is geared towards this particular device. It's not an APK file. An APK file is basically an Android package. So if you have an Android phone or a tablet, what you can do is you can create an APK file, then you can connect your mobile device or your tablet, and you could drag and drop it onto your device. And so you now have kind of an app with an icon. The way to do that, so this is generally what you see here is an emulator. So if you're using specific hardware features like the accelerometer where you can move up and down based on the X and Y axis and the Z, or if you want to test swipes or gestures. So that's what it does. An emulator is never really going to be great for testing as you would test it on the exact device. So it's a great tool there that you could use sometimes. Other things is going to be like geolocations. Every device out there will have a GPS. You can test it on here. So geolocations. So now if we go back into Flash, now we go to Air 3.2 for Android settings. And now it comes up with a number of different options that allow you to create an APK file, an Android package, which you can place on your device. Flash also allows you to test applications directly connected to your device. So what you may want to do is, at one point or another, you may want to say, I want to create a new application, and it has to be Air for Android. When you click on Air for Android, it comes up with a screen that would generally match a mobile device. So you would create your app or your animation, and then what you can do is you can click on debug, and you can debug the movie directly on your device. The only thing is you need to have your device connected via USB. And there may be issues. Sometimes your device may not have the correct drivers for that to work. So if that's the case, then you generally have to drag and drop it onto your device. So whenever you launch your device, it will pop up with a screen where you can open it and you can actually drag and drop it to any particular location on your device. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go back to Air for Android settings. So this is going to be my output file. This is what my app is going to be called. I could say animation. That's going to be my app name. I could say animation, and you can give it a particular ID if you want to, but I could leave it as is. Then following that, there is aspect ratio. Do you want that to be portrait, landscape, or do you want to automatically readjust? So you may want to decide, what format do you want. Do you want that to be full screen? Do you want it to automatically orientate based on the way the device is facing? Then as we move on, we now click on deployment. Now deployment with any device, an Android app, you have to create a certificate. This is fairly easy to create. So you would click on create, give it a name, rav.gang.hcc. So it's kind of a unique name, so I'll just say HCC, and then I want to give it a password. I'll just do 123 for the time being. 123, and then I want to give it a file name. So I want to give it the name certificate. This can be anything you like. I want to save this to my desktop. And the extension for this is going to be P12. I want to click OK. And now Flash will go away and it will actually create a certificate. So that certificate has been created. Now I'm just going to close this and go to the desktop. And there's my certificate. And you could reuse this as many times as you like. You could just save it in one particular location and just reuse it each time you're republishing your app. Now if I go back to where we left off, which was Air 3.4 or for Android settings, I'd have to type this again, animation, let's do full screen, deployment. I want to find the certificate, so there's my certificate, then type my password 123, and you could save that if you like. Now here, do you want it for a device release, emulator, or debug? So you may have finalized your animation or application and it's ready for prime time. Then following that, you need to embed the Air runtime. So on the Android device or even the iPhone, it does need the Air runtime to function correctly. So after publishing, it does give you the option install application on the connected Android device. Okay, I don't have a device connected right now, but you may do. If that is the case, you can check on that. I don't have that, so I'm now going to go into icons. Now you can create icons for your app. And remember Fireworks? So I'm going to just launch Fireworks. And I'm going to create an icon 36 by 36 pixels. So we're going to create an icon, so the icon will sit on your Android device, so you could tap on it and then your application launches. So remember the dimensions were 36 by 36. So now obviously you would need to create what you want your icon to look like. So I'm just going to have a circle, maybe just half a circle. Just do it on both sides. Maybe change the color. That's going to be my my icon. I'm going to save it on my desktop, and I'm going to call it IC icon. And I don't need Fireworks anymore. I'm going to close it. And you can create other icons 48 by 48, 72 by 72, because mobile devices come in different sizes. So 36 by 36 would be for basically a mobile phone. A 48 by 48 would be for a mini tablet, and then for the larger tablets like the iPad or the 10-inch Android devices, you would need to go for the 72-72. So you may want to create multiple icons. So I'm going to find this. Okay. Now I'm going to go to permissions. Right now there's a number of different permissions you can select. We don't need to choose any. If your app is not going to do anything besides just animate, then you don't need to select it. But there may be apps where you may want to go out onto the internet. You may be writing content to your device. You may want the camera functioning. So you could select those as you go along. Languages, what language? It's going to be English. Then we click on publish. Then it goes away and it starts creating the APK file. Okay, so after a while it should come up with APK was packaged successfully, but a warning occurred. I mean, sometimes you may get warnings. Has not been specified. It's because I didn't select any of the permissions, so there's no internet access, nothing. But if we do have a look at our stage, what you will see is you'll see the name of that particular app. So now this is the file you would drag and drop onto your mobile device. And once it's dragged and dropped, it will actually ask you, do you wish to install this app? And you would click on OK, and then it will install the app along with the icon. Now you would have this icon on your device you could tap on, and will actually play your app or your animation. So that's how easy it is to create a simple app using Flash. So once again, the APK file is the Android package. You can also do this for the iPhone. Okay, if you are interested in the iPhone, I'll try to put some step-by-step guides on how to set that up.